So this is my first review, and I think part of what a review would do is to entice you to see something or to maybe not see something, um, and or watch something or buy something or consume that thing, whatever it is we're talking about. I will tell you these reviews are going to be very informal. I'm not like taking a whole bunch of notes and then comparing them to other people's reviews and doing a bunch of research and watching the movie 8 times or listening to the album a billion times for the purpose of reviewing it. They're going to be very informal, very casual, and just kind of like on the go thoughts for the most part. But speaking about notes, I was taking a couple notes during the movie. I didn't plan to, and then I realized, oh, wait a second, like, I want to do reviews now. Maybe I could talk about this movie. So, about, like, a quarter of the way through the movie, I was like, and I went and started writing some stuff down, and then I lost it. So, that's cool. But Velvet Buzzsaw, that's what I want to talk about today. So, I will say right off the bat, there will be spoilers later, but I will be very clear as to when those will come, so as to not ruin this movie for you, so you can stop watching at that point, and then maybe pick it up later after you watch this movie, because hopefully you do if you're into art. I think that the audience, well, that's kind of mixed. So, and that'll be something we talk about later. But I mean, I think that if you appreciate art, then you can appreciate this movie. If you can appreciate art as being more than aesthetic or decorative, if you think about those bigger questions as to why do we make art, what does it mean, how do we interact with it as an audience, if you're a creator of art, then how does making the work affect you as an individual? How do your experiences in life affect the work that you make? Those are all things that I think get discussed in this movie. And it goes way beyond that from the individual and discusses and critiques how the art world kind of maybe operates. The movie is very contemporary. It's very present in the now. So very, I guess, modernist in the fact that we're talking about modernity in a way of like how things are at this very moment. It's super present with the technologies that are presented, and things that are happening, like certain events in the movie, like social events and things of that nature. So that's really good. So I'll say that, yeah, if you're super into art and that kind of thing, and some maybe deeper thinking on a creepier, darker level, then I think that you should watch this. It's good for activating those things and maybe having some questions and stuff without being too heady. It's not meant or presented to be like this real poetic, beautiful, dramatic thing that lets you ponder these issues. It's presented very tongue-in-cheek and humorous and dark, and I really like that about it. Those are things that in the trailer were appealing to me, but also had this horror element in the trailer that was like, okay, maybe we'll see what happens. I thought it was kind of corny in the trailer when I first saw it, but I still wanted to watch it. It's got Jake Gyllenhaal. I love a lot of the work that he's done, and in the trailer, I kind of was comparing it to Nightcrawler, if you've seen him in that, just the way that it was just this darker kind of vibe and this role that he seemed to be playing, but still very intellectual and smart. So, super cool if you're into those type of vibes, where it does get a little creepy, but it's still intellectual enough and makes you think about things related to art and human nature. It's very good, I think, about talking about things like selfishness, and desire, lust, and not just for like people, but for things, and then again how an artist interacts with their own work, how people interact with that work and that artist, and how the art world right now is working. I think that something that it did very, very well was critique the art world, or like the fine art world, or whatever you want to call it, like capital A art world, that they were critiquing with this piece of social commentary, maybe how that business operates and how the business side of art, when you get up to that upper echelon, how that works. Again, I didn't like go and fact check all this stuff and be like, is that really what happens? But I mean, it is critiquing it in, again, a playful, tongue-in-cheek way. I think that the horror elements are the parts that make it a little corny. A friend of mine said it's very campy, and I think that's a much better word. The trailer came off to me as corny. It didn't turn me off completely because it was all filled with art and visual art stuff, and I was like, yes, I want to see this. So it didn't turn me off completely, and I'm glad because it's still good. I got a lot out of it. A really short synopsis of, I mean, I guess what the movie's about is an artist who creates work and really puts themselves into their work, and people that view this artist's work, things start happening that are fantastical. So it's got a critique on human nature and again how people take advantage of things and situations and things like that. And it critiques the art world, critiques humans in general, talks about human nature and things of that sort. So I think that right now is where I'll tell you, or there'll be a big thing here saying spoiler alert, because I do want to talk about the ending and I want to talk about the parts of the movie that I didn't like, and that all has to do with the ending. So if you don't want this ruined for you, or you've already seen it, then cool, keep watching. Otherwise, I would suggest go see it. Check this part out later. Um, so yeah, my biggest gripe is the ending. The ending, the last, like, I don't even remember, like 15, 20 minutes or so, it was just like, just kill, kill, kill. Um, Everyone who profited over Deese's work. So, I mean, it just felt very forced. The horror elements are the parts that I was like, this doesn't even need to be there. Like the fact that it's darker and creepier and stuff, that makes sense. But when you get to like, no, we need to kill this person and that person and this person, it didn't really allow for any change. I guess like Morph, Jake Gyllenhaal's character. It's not like he changes that much, which is funny with the name Morph. Um, but it's not like he completely, like, I mean, he saw what was happening, is that we have to put a stop to this. But does his character really change? No, I don't think any of them 100% change and really get it. I don't think there's enough time for that or enough attention given in the movie to building these characters so that we really, really care about them, and then also watching them go through changes. That's not what it's about. But these horror elements, and then there's like, no, we have to kill them off because they profited. Like, I just felt like it was wooden, like it wasn't very well done. It was more of a necessity that I wish it didn't need to be. I just wish that element of the movie wasn't there, and they tried to make it super creepy and it wasn't scary. Like it just wasn't a scary movie, which was good. Like I didn't want it to be, but they were injecting these other elements that I just felt like didn't need to be there. The kills, I don't want to say they were lazy, like towards the end, but I mean, it just didn't do anything. I feel like it didn't add to the movie. It distracted me from all the great things that had happened earlier in the movie. I felt like the way they resolved it was cheap and rushed, and it just was unnecessary. Like I don't know at what point. I don't know. Obviously, I didn't do research, so I mean I don't know what the storyline was at the very beginning, and I don't know why they decided. Maybe that's the way it was the whole time. Maybe they took a left turn and decided to resolve it this way through filming. I don't know, but that is what I really, really didn't like. Was just the ending. It didn't ruin the whole thing for me, but it wasn't great. It just kind of it didn't like it, I felt like it was really good for like 75% of it, and then the last quarter was just like not great. Like again, it felt cheap and rushed and wooden and just not. It didn't have the character. I mean, like I said, there wasn't a lot of character building to begin with, but the movie itself had character, and I felt like it lost that character when it just became, we need to kill these people off, and it doesn't matter if they change their mind, and we don't really even get to see real changes happen or develop. Um, yeah, I think that's kind of it. Like that was my biggest gripe was just the last three deaths of the most prominent characters, arguably, and how they did that, especially the very last one with Redora and like the tattoo and the velvet buzzsaw, and then it just like, what is it, decapitate, or the tattoo comes to life? Like it was just, they made it this fantastical thing without really resolving why or how this happened. Like was the artist so evil that, and when he poured his blood into the paintings and his work, that the paintings came to life, like, but then it moves into like any art form, any form of art he could, or the spirit of this like character could infiltrate. Like Dees just like somehow, gets into the tattoo and just cuts her head off. Like it was just lazy. It was, that one was really lazy. That one was ridiculous. It was a huge eye roll moment and just like real bad. Overall, I still am happy that I watched the movie. I got some great quotes out of it, like I mentioned, and that could be future titles of pieces for my work or something. I'm glad I watched it, but again, just be I'm not. It's not. Yeah, the ending not great. The last quarter of the movie or so was just kind of like going downhill, and then that very last couple seconds was like really, really. But Velvet Buzzsaw, if you're into art, I mean, I hope you enjoyed it. I'm really curious to hear what other people have to say about it. If you agree or disagree with anything I said, or bring up some points that maybe I forgot about, just want to discuss it further, that would be great. I don't see myself watching it again anytime in the near future, just because it wasn't that powerful for me. But I did enjoy it. I got some great quotes out of it. There was some really awesome moments in there, and yeah, let me know what you think.